Hi, first graders. Today we're going to venture onto our second Mind Up lesson. And today we're going to learn about what it means to be mindfully aware or to learn how to be mindful. So let's take a look at some things and help us understand what it means to be mindful. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can take a look at some pictures and slides together. Okay, thank you for being patient while I get this ready up and sharing. All right. Now let's review our five senses. We have our hearing, seeing, touching, smelling, and taste. And today we're going to use our ears to hear sounds all around us. Maybe you just heard that sound in the background. If we were at school, you'd know that was the bell ringing. But most of us are at home or somewhere else other than school today. So I want you to sit comfortably, close or cover your eyes, and listen very carefully for all the sounds you hear around you and wherever you are. So let's take a few seconds to close our eyes and just listen. Give me a thumbs up if you heard someone in your home or wherever you are right now. Touch your head if you could hear your own breath as you were breathing. Touch your knee if you heard someone or something outside your window. Touch your nose if you could hear someone in your home or near you. What is this thing called the amygdala? Wasn't it surprising how many sounds we heard when we just sat and listened? The parts of our brain work together to help us pay attention to the sounds around us. Okay, let's review the parts of the brain. The amygdala's main purpose is to keep you safe. Another key player is the hippocampus, and this part is our memory keeper. The third key player is the prefrontal cortex, and it's at the top or front of our brain, and it helps us make good, thoughtful decisions. When you were listening for 30 seconds, you were being mindful. You were paying attention to the sounds around you. When you were being mindful, we think before we act. When we are being unmindful, we act without thinking. We aren't paying attention to what's happening around us. The amygdala, our security guard, tries to do all the work for our brain. Our brain and how does it work? When we flip our lid, we're letting the amygdala take over the prefrontal cortex. What are the three options that the amygdala gives you? Fight, flight, or freeze. The amygdala tells us whether things around us are safe or dangerous. When our brain is calm, the amygdala allows our prefrontal cortex to make wise decisions. The amygdala can sometimes make a mountain out of a molehill. You might remember that video from the first lesson. For example, we sometimes freeze in stressful situations, such as taking a test. This is unmindful behavior. Remember when we sat for 30 seconds and we were mindful of what we heard? This is an example of mindful behavior. Being mindful gives the wise thinker the prefrontal cortex. Use the hand model, or the front of our brain. It gives it time to think. Thinking mindfully happens when our brain has time to think about what we see and hear before we do or say something. When we go to the calming corner, or we count to 10, or take a break, or take those deep belly breaths when we're frustrated or angry, this shows that we are using mindful ways to calm our brain to think more wisely. Let's watch a little video together to learn a little bit more about mindfulness. Here it comes.
I get really mad when my brother hits me a lot. I don't like it when you say you don't want to play with me. When I'm mad, my brain can get a headache and it can start hurting. Your your blood keeps pumping because you're like really mad. And you start to get sweaty because you're getting really, really mad. And then when you start getting really mad, you turn red. When your body can't really control yourself, mad just takes over your body. I just get out of control. It's kind of like if you had a jar and then the jar would be your brain and then you put glitter in the jar and that would be how you would feel. If you shook up the jar and the glitter went everywhere, that would be how your mind looks. And it's like spinning around and then you don't have any time to think. And you sometimes punch stuff and people when you don't really mean it. When I get angry, I feel it in my heart. I really don't like when I get angry. The amygdala really reacts, but the prefrontal cortex tries to keep it down. When I feel like I want to, get really angry and yell, I just sometimes, take deep breaths. First you find a place where you can be alone, then you find some way to relax and calm down. When I need to calm down, I take deep breaths. I breathe in through my nose. Sometimes I close my eyes or just take deep breaths. It's coming down, it's not moving. It's slowing down and then it stops. And the heart pumps slow and then it goes into your brain. It's like all the sparkles are at the bottom of your brain. My brain slows down and then I feel more calm and then I'm ready to speak to that person.
Okay, boys and girls, let's see if we can think of sometimes or find the difference between being mindful and unmindful. So let's think back to what we learned about what it means to be mindful or what it means to be unmindful. Now, remember, we can use all of our senses to help us be mindful. So earlier, we did an example of listening to all the things around us. We were being mindful of our surroundings. So let's see if you can think of something that would be mindful or unmindful. Now, you might have an idea that you would like to share. Maybe you could tell someone near you if you have an idea of a way that you can be mindful. So let's think of this example. And I want you to tell me, do you think it's mindful or unmindful? So if you are listening to someone read a story and being able to retell it, mindful or unmindful? If you said mindful, you were right. Let's listen to this example. Crossing the street without looking both ways. Mindful or unmindful? If you said unmindful, that's right. You're not using your senses to think, to stop and think. Instead, you're just going ahead. Helping someone in need. Mindful or unmindful? Of course, that's a mindful activity. You're thinking of others around you. What about not speaking to someone because he or she has not spoken to you? Mindful or unmindful? If you said unmindful, you're right. Here's another example. Daydreaming or turning out to what is happening around you, tuning out what's happening around you. Do you think that's being mindful if you're daydreaming or not listening, or unmindful? If you thought unmindful, you're right. So, see if you can share something that would be a mindful example versus an unmindful example with someone at your house, too. Now, last, boys and girls, we're going to do a breathing activity together. I'll pull this up. Oh, you know what? I think I already have it here ready to go. Let's listen.
Can you make a grumpy face? I bet you can. Make your grumpiest face ever. Or maybe you feel a little angry or sad today. If you do, make an angry face or a sad face. Now take a really big breath in. Blow all those bad feelings away. Do it again. Take a really big breath in. Blow all those bad feelings away. Let's do it once more, just in case they didn't all go. Take a big breath in and blow all those bad feelings away. Now sit up really tall. Maybe smile a little smile. Take another long breath in and just let it all the way out.
Okay, first graders, thank you for learning a little bit more about what it means to be mindful with me today. Have a great afternoon.